The car buying process can be a lot. I know, I've been there. You just want to get in and out with a new car and the best deal. Simple. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford keeps it simple. They're going to take care of you, get you in and out with your new vehicle with a great deal. Their inventory right now is priced to sell, and what separates Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford from any and all competitors is they aim to address each of your needs with the utmost respect, care, and attention to detail. Contact them today at 662-234-8000. That's 662-234-8000. Stop by and see them in person at 2201 East University Avenue in Oxford. That's Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford to find your next perfect car, truck, or Jeep. Allen Samuels, let's be friends. Welcome into the Flagship, a part of the Talk of Champions network of podcasts. I'm Ben Garrett. I cover Ole Miss, your Ole Miss Rebels for the Ole Miss Spirit, an affiliate of On3. Check out my website, omspirit.com, and please subscribe to Talk of Champions by searching for us in your podcast app store, whether that's Apple Music, Spotify, whatever it is. Once again, for better or worse, I am riding solo today, but that's because this is a special Ben's Ole Miss Basketball Bonanza edition of the Flagship, because the Rebels under first-year head coach Chris Beard opened practices on Monday of this week. And the most important of the need-to-know takeaways from Beard's 20-minute back and forth with local Ole Miss media is the Rebels are still waiting on word from the NCAA on the waivers of transfers Moussa Cisse and Brandon Murray. The update, unfortunately, is there is no update. Because, of course, there isn't. It's the NCAA. And, as Beard explained, the Rebels are operating and now practicing with the understanding their roster could take any number of forms once the preseason is over.
Yeah, just complete transparency and truth-teller culture is one of our foundations. Sounds simple, but we know other way to communicate with our players, and the communication in our organization is basically just related on truth. Sometimes there's tough conversations to be had. So this one, just being really transparent with our players. There's different ways that our roster could go this season. We don't spend a lot of time talking about it or thinking about it each day. We just try to get our team better, but we also don't hide from it. We understand that our roster can go one or two different ways this year, so we're just waiting on these waivers.
I'm not going to play all of Beard's audio, though I would encourage each of you, when you can, to head over to the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, an affiliate of On3, sometime, anytime, and check out the presser in full. We've got multiple content items to choose from, depending on your preference, from written to video content, even podcast content. But even accounting for the uncertainty surrounding Moussa Cisse and Brandon Murray, the Ole Miss Rebels, the Ole Miss Basketball Rebels, in this Ben's Ole Miss Basketball Bonanza edition of the Flagship, have a roster fit to compete in year one of Beard's tenure due to the sheer number of experienced and accomplished Power 5 transfers Beard and staff added through the portal in the offseason. Ole Miss signed one of the nation's top transfer classes. Among the headliners was Auburn wing Al Flanigan. He's the son of Wes, an assistant coach for Beard at Ole Miss, and he too came over from Auburn. And I sat down with Flanigan as well as star senior guard Matthew Murrell 2 weeks ago. Matt is the rare kind of multi-year one-school veteran in the now transfer-dominated culture of college athletics. Sure, he's tested the NBA draft waters in each of the last two off seasons, and sources indicate myriad competing schools the last four portal cycles made lucrative overtures and attempts to pull him away from Ole Miss. And yet, here Matt is, still an Ole Miss Rebel, and finally surrounded by a supporting cast suitable to his next-level talent. And even better, Matthew Murrell's already familiar with most all of his new teammates. Ole Miss is returning just 4 players off a roster that bottomed out with one of the worst seasons in program history a year ago. I don't have to remind you, but I will. Ole Miss finished 12-21 overall, including a ghastly 3-15 in SEC games. As a result, Ole Miss Athletics Director Keith Carter fired Kermit Davis after 5 seasons and replaced him with Beard.
Yeah, I think our chemistry is a work in progress, but it is going in the right direction. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. We spent a lot of time together off the court in these last 5 weeks of our preseason. Week 0 was the first week of school, getting the guys acclimated to their academic schedules, to their housing situations. Obviously, Oxford and the campus, it's different in the fall than it is in the summer. Just more people, more traffic, more energy. So that week 0 is really all about getting organized, and the guys embraced that, especially academically. We got off to a great start. Then we had 4 weeks of preseason work. We just call it week 1, 2, 3, 4, and we did well. So here we are this week. Preseason's over. We're starting practice, but I think the guys have done a good job bonding together off the court. We have a long ways to go. You never really know how close a group you have until adversity hits. And just like most teams around the country, we haven't had any on-court adversity yet, so that's always interesting. But I think our veteran players have done a really good job in leadership roles. And then I think everybody in our program has done a good job in following roles. There's no leaders unless there's followers. And certainly in my lifetime, if you talk about a Tom Brady or a Tim Tebow in college or in basketball, a Magic Johnson or whatever, you think about the great leaders, there has to be followers. None of those guys are the leaders they are unless there's followers. So we spend a lot of time with our players understanding that we have to kind of pick and choose our times. There's times for even our best, strongest voice leaders to kind of defer and follow a little bit. So with this group and this team, I have been impressed. There's not a lot of ego. There's some humility here, which is always a core value of winning. So I like where our guys are. We got a long ways to go, but I do like where we are sitting here on the first day of practice.
Matt Murrell made a good point during a sit-down with the Spirit, which, if you ask me, really backs up everything you just heard from Chris Beard regarding team chemistry for Ole Miss basketball in 2023-24. Murrell's been playing competitively, either in AAU or in SEC games in the case of Flanigan, Al Flanigan, formerly of Auburn, like I said, against most of his now Ole Miss teammates, and that dates back to high school. Musa Cisse, the transfer from Memphis and Oklahoma State, he came up with Matt Murrell in 2020 as decorated recruits for Memphis. So what have we learned? That, put simply, the Rebels' chemistry is perfectly fine. And if you don't believe me, listen for yourself. Here's Matt Murrell and Al Flanigan. So I'm sitting here with Matthew Murrell. This is Talk of Champions. I'm Ben Garrett. How you doing, man? How you feeling? You look like you've gotten bigger.
Yeah, man. Just been in the gym, been working, trying to stay consistent, getting ready for the upcoming season.
Yeah. So what's the work been like so far? We got Al sitting over here beside us. He's being quiet for now. But, what's it been like with all these new guys, man?
It's been great. Half the guys I've already known just throughout the years playing with them. Of course, I've been playing against Al for the past few years when he was at Auburn. Brandon Murray, played against him. He was at LSU, played against him in high school. Musa, played against Musa in high school. Austin, same thing. So it's just I grew up with a lot of these guys, so it's good to finally have a chance to play with them.
It's wild, though, like the culture of that, though, right? Because, you've been knowing these guys for you all go your separate ways and you end up together. So, what's that dynamic like, from a locker room perspective? Has it been pretty easy then? Transition, it just feels like you've been here the whole time?
It's always an easy transition, when you already know guys for a long time. And then you just finally get that chance to play with each other. It's kind of like, man, we've been waiting on.
Yeah. What's it like? What's Al brought to the team? What's Musa brought to all these guys? These are decorated transfers, man. What have they kind of brought in your mind? Because you've been a part of this program. You're the vet now, right? You're the old head now, right?
Yeah, all of them are dynamic players. Al, you can stick Al in any team, he'll be an impact. Inside out, Musa, one of the best shot blockers in the whole NCAA. So. Brandon, dynamic scorer. Austin's real crafty with the ball. Even Sharp, one of the best shot blockers. So, they all bring something to the team that we all can build off of.
You can't teach 7'6", man.
Nah, you can't.
You know what I mean? 7'6" is 7'6". For you, what are you trying to, particularly work on? This is the last year for you, man. This is crazy. I remember covering your friggin' commitment ceremony, bro, and now here you are,
Yeah, man, I just been working on, being more of a leader. My biggest thing was being more consistent day in, day out, and inserting my will on the game. Yeah. I'm helping my teammates get better, helping myself get better.
Yeah, for you, what was the summer like? Because, you had a lot of deliberations, man. You could have gone pro. Al could have gone pro. A lot of y'all guys, y'all all considered different things. For you, what was the deliberative process like?
I was here for the summer. I was here working out with the guys. But, just the whole process, Coach Beard, he told me, no matter what happened, he was going to be with me throughout the whole process. even Al hit me up a few times, you know, and just based on the feedback that I got, I just decided it was best if I came back for another year.
What did the feedback say? Now that you got the official answer out the way, what was the feedback? What did they say?
I was just being more consistent, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more consistent, be more aggressive day in and day out, you know, just show the complete player that I am.
Because you've been right there on the NBA radar, man, for like 3 straight years now, right? I mean, was Chris Beard getting hired, was that a big deal for you? I mean, just getting that, you know, a year of him and all these dudes that come in with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, he has a good resume. You know, Coach Beard's known for winning, and that's one thing that I'm trying to do here is win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, I put my trust in him. He gave me his trust, and, you know, we're here.
Yeah, that's the interesting part of it, too, because, I mean, like I said, it's rare in this culture now, man. You've been here 4 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you've been here, like, you came and you stayed, you know what I mean? So, like, what would it mean to you to get this program, you know, back to the NCAA tournament?
Man,
yeah, like, what would that feel like? Because you've been on every level of it, you know what I mean?
I done been through it all. I've been through the NIT, not making any tournaments. You know, the only thing I'm missing right now is the NCAA tournament appearance.
Yeah, what would it feel like for you, man?
I mean the world, but, you know, we're not trying to just make it to the tournament. We're trying to win. We're trying to make a deep run into the tournament.
Yeah. For y'all, what do you like about this team right now? I mean, do you feel like it's come together pretty quickly? Do you think y'all are deep? I mean, what's just your overall, as far as being a contender and making that run?
I think we got a real good chance. You know, we got different guys specialize in different things. We got guys that can do it all. You know, even if guys go down, we have guys who are able to step up and make an immediate impact. So, you know, I think our biggest thing is depth. So, you know, I think it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, for you, man, because, like, I remember I was interviewing Beard here not too long ago, and he said, like, you could play the 1, the 2, the 3. I mean, there's a lot you could be doing. Have you seen that? You know, like, he's asking you to play a number of roles. What all roles does he kind of put on you?
A little bit of everything. The only thing I don't play is center. But that's another thing why I try to, you know, put on more muscle, you know, just so I can be able to fit in different positions.
Now I'm with Alan Flanigan, transfer to Ole Miss. Do I call you wing, do everything? What do we call you? You know what I mean? Do they even have a position for you? You play everywhere.
Beard's been saying I'm a positionless player since I got here. So just sticking to it, just being a positionless player.
Yeah, Chris Beard, that's like what he wants out of his players too. Like he wants positionless basketball. So when you're looking around and you're saying, all right, I got 1 year left. If I don't go pro, I'm going to Ole Miss. Was that part of it too? Just, you know, you could play any number of roles for this team for an NCAA tournament contender.
Being able to, be able to go to a school and be able to just a guy you can plug in that just really doesn't have a position, can guard, multiple positions, play multiple positions.
All right, so how did you get here, man? Because this is wild, bro. Because you were playing in Auburn in the friggin' spring, and then y'all go through the run, y'all are done. You consider all the draft stuff, and then you come here. Like, what was that process like for you?
That process was just, I was working out for the draft and stuff, and then. My dad made a move, and he called me. He was like, I'm going to go with Beard. And I was like, go with Beard? Like, yeah. I'm like, because I've known Beard for a while. Him and my dad coached together at Little Rock. So Beard came there, and, he turned that thing around quick at Euler. So just, going through the process and talking to Beard and, listening to what he had to say and, his plan here, it brought me in. So. I was in. 100%.
How close were you, though, to going pro? Because it had to be tempting. You know what I mean? Once you get into that process and you're getting the feedback, I mean, you feel like, you know what I mean? Like, that's got to be tough.
Just a matter of just making a decision whether I want to stay in or, come back to school.
What was the feedback? What did they say?
Just good. Just wanted to see me be more consistent.
Yeah.
So.
When they're talking about, like, it's different for Matt and you as far as when they say we want to see you be more consistent. Everybody gets that. What do they want you to do? What does that mean?
So I could have, games where I dominate the glass, dominate just most aspects of the games that you can control, just rebounding, playing defense, defending, and just knocking out open shots. So just being more consistent that way, just being able to defend multiple positions, not get beat, and then really just knock down an open shot when I get a chance.
So it's interesting you say your dad calls and says, I'm going with Beard. If he'd have stayed at Auburn, do you think he'd have stayed at Auburn?
That's
hard, right?
Yeah, that's a hard question. But, yeah.
It's fine. What was it like then to get recruited by your dad to come to another SEC West school? That's really fun. That's neat, dude.
He really kind of stayed out of it.
Oh, did he?
Honestly, yeah, he stayed out of it. He just
he didn't just call you and be like, "Hey, yo, we need a wing."
Yeah, he stayed out of it. He told me where he was gonna go, and then he left it up to me to make my own decision.
How was it hard for you? I mean, to come to that decision that you're coming here, or like when did you have that moment of clarity? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go play
after the first phone call talking to Beard.
Really?
Yeah, I was sold. I was like, yeah.
What did he say to you? Well, because I've heard he's just
he talked about it, his plan, what he sees in the future here. He talked about getting here year one and changing the culture here, building his own culture, and winning games, taking a school that's at the bottom of the SEC as far as basketball and bringing it back to the top.
Can you see a difference? I mean, already, because look, let's be honest here. I've been around Ole Miss basketball my entire life. It's not like Ole Miss basketball has been amongst the SEC elite. You know what I mean? Like Auburn was like that until Bruce came, and then he made Auburn good again. You know what I mean? Have you seen a next level difference with him?
Yeah, I've already seen a difference. In the 2 months that I've been here, 2-3 months I've been here. Just the way practices run, our daily schedules. Like we got KD schedules. We in the gym from 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, about 5 in the afternoon. Like you constantly coming to the gym, constantly got stretching, yoga. You got stuff to better yourself every day. So you get
yoga.
Yeah, man.
Yoga.
Yeah, we do. So we haven't
like
did
downward dog.
Yeah, we haven't did that in a minute, but we got a thing called Friday Man's Morning.
Okay.
And we did hot yoga.
Dude, that's like a thing now. Like everybody's digging, especially around Oxford, man. That's like a thing. I'm looking at everybody else in here. I've had people go, "Hey, man, you want to meet up for hot yoga on Friday morning?" Like, what? So all y'all big 6'8" to 6
hot yoga, and then we rode the assault bikes in the sauna.
Good grief! So y'all are always doing something. He's got it.
So
he's got it down to the minute, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
He makes it fun too.
What do you like your new teammates? I mean, like Matt said, I mean, you've got a lot of guys you've already know. What's that like? That's bizarre. You know what I mean? Because like y'all went your separate ways.
It's kind of weird because it's like when we were in high school and stuff, like we all made our decisions. Everybody went their separate way, but like kind of you had guys that you were closer with. You always stayed in touch, whether it's social media between just sharing a post or reposting each other's stuff. So you got a lot of guys that's like that you've been knowing, and then just for you guys to kind of everybody be on like that back end of their college years, and just all meet back up at one place. It's kind of like an enjoyment.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like for y'all, it's usually when you get a new old days, you used to get an influx of talent. It was a bunch of new high school freshmen, like really talented, but wide-eyed, don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, I mean, this is like a bunch of adults that showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all basically some vets that's coming in. All experienced guys who've played in D1 games, big D1 games, and all back in college at one spot as a big veteran group in college basketball.
Well, it's interesting too because like the culture is like that, like, and I would assume that having all that experience for y'all when y'all just got in the room, to go, oh hey Matt, good to see you again. Now let's play basketball together. It's just a different thing. You know what I mean? It ain't like. Did you notice that too? Because I would assume when you take advantage of the transfer portal, you don't really know what you're getting into quite until you get into it. But now that you made the decision, you're like, yeah, this was right. Does it feel that way to you? Does it feel like the right decision for you?
Yeah, it feels like the right decision. Beard says it like he likes veteran guys. He like guys who know what they're doing a little bit. And then you got the freshmen there that we teach and help along that's going to play minutes, playing games, and we help them get along and get the process as fast as possible.
Do you think when you look out there in your practice, do you see an NCAA tournament team?
Yeah, I see.
You don't have to make any guarantees or nothing. I'm just saying, like,
I see a team. I see a team that can definitely compete in the NCAA tournament, compete for championship.
What's the goals? Like, what when Coach Spirit said, "All right, I'm sure you obviously win a national championship," but it's like, do y'all have checklist goals? Like, let's do this first, let's do this second.
No, we don't really have any checklist goals. I feel like it's gonna be like a game by game situation. Like we're not gonna think ahead. Not gonna think about months down the road. We're gonna think about the next step in our journey. The next step in our journey is for us would be getting up tomorrow and knocking out workouts. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going there, giving it they all, getting through Friday and coming back again Monday. So it'll be game by game.
How can Matt be better? Do you think? I mean, you've played against him, you've seen him. I mean, he's been in that NBA conversation just like you for years now. So like, how can he take his game to another level?
Just being consistent. Like Matt's one of the best shooters in college basketball. He can let that thing fly. He has deep range. Just being consistent and staying aggressive. He's probably shot like 36 or 37, probably 35 from three in his college career. Probably if he just took it up to like a 38, 37, 39 in those range and was consistent on the consistency, like Matt's one of those guys.
For you, what do you want to do particularly, like to take your game to the next, or to match what the NBA scouts said they want to see from you? What are you trying to do? Like just be more. I mean, I don't know. What do you?
Be a guy who can go in the game and just shut the other team's best player down night in and night out.
I would assume like clamping a dude.
Yeah. Nah, that's big.
That's when you own a guy, right?
Yeah, you own him.
Anybody can dunk.
Clamp him and you know everybody can't dunk there. Everybody don't jump to say.
Oh, my ass can't jump. I haven't been able to dunk. Like, if I could dunk, I'd dunk all the time. It's Al Flanigan. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Ole Miss football is happening. The Chris Beard era right around the corner. A retooled Ole Miss baseball, not long removed from his 2022 national championship, the first ever for the program, is ready for a rebound in 2024. Have you gotten your tickets? There are plenty available for all sports. Single game tickets for football available now, as are season tickets for basketball. And baseball season tickets go on sale starting in October. And you can also get tickets right now for the throwback game in the Tad Pad. They're still available, including VIP packages. But they're going fast, and you don't want to miss out. Don't miss any of your Rebels in action this season. Visit www.olemistix.com. That's www.olemistix.com. Or you can give them a call at 662-915-7159. That's 662-915-7159 for the Ole Miss Athletic Foundation, a proud sponsor of the Flagship and the Talk of Champions podcast network. Ole Miss basketball opens its season November 6th against Alabama State, and I've already been over to the Pavilion and the Tuohy Center and the Tad Pad. The Rebels are playing a throwback game in the Tad Pad there this season to observe Beard in this new look and completely overhauled but exciting crop of Rebel basketballers. And folks, Chris Beard is next level. I cannot adequately express how next level this guy is. And yes, I know he's taken 3 separate programs to the NCAA tournament since 2016, those teams being, of course, Arkansas Little Rock, Texas Tech, and Texas. Went to the Elite Eight and also a national championship game with Texas Tech. The best resume of any coach Ole Miss has hired in any major sport or any sport ever on campus. And you can tell. You can tell the difference. But you have to really see it for yourself, and that starts with Square Jam October 6th, or you can hear from his longtime strength and conditioning coach, John Reilly, in his first Ole Miss interview. John took some time with me last Friday actually, to really get into what makes Chris Beard tick. Ole Miss makes Reilly's 3rd school, an 8th combined season on a Chris Beard staff. Few, if anyone, knows this guy better. So I hope you enjoy it because John's going to take us home in this Ben's Ole Miss Basketball Bonanza edition of the Flagship, powered by College Corner, B&A Bank, Allen Samuels, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford, and the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Don't forget, get your Ole Miss basketball season tickets if you haven't already, which are on sale right now. Check us out at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, an affiliate of On 3, and subscribe to Talk of Champions. Wherever you get your podcast, just simply search Talk of Champions. Make sure to leave a 5-star review, too. Y'all know the drill at this point. It doesn't matter what you say, as long as it's 5 stars. Until next time, this is the Flagship, and this is John Reilly.
Introducing the new and improved BNA Bank mobile app. From setting transaction alerts and tracking your spending habits, to managing travel plans and turning off a lost or stolen debit card, you can take care of all of it in the new BNA mobile app. At BNA Bank, we know that life moves pretty fast, and we have the mobile technology to keep up with your life on the go. BNA Bank. Local, invested, modern banking.
What's it been like, your first year here, getting settled in, and, it's your introduction to the players? What's it been like getting them prepared, for the season, and just over the last couple of months settling in with your program particularly?
It has been a transition, absolutely. But it's really exciting. This is my third spot with Beard. Been at Texas Tech together, University of Texas, and now here at Ole Miss. I've been together the longest with him on our staff, so this will be our 8th season together. And it's really the excitement of like, hey, let's do this again. and something that we've seen countless times, and we're excited for this challenge. The moving always is a challenge, packing up, and the transition with my wife and my kids. But we're transitioning well. Kids are enjoying school.
Like in Oxford?
Yes, love in Oxford. This is our first time really experiencing a small town feel.
Really?
And I was a little concerned at first, but I was like, man, this is right for us, especially at this time in our life. So great people. Just a great small town feel, and it's just beautiful town, man. Yeah. All the Cape myrtles and magnolia trees.
But it is different. I mean, like you've been there and Beard too. Like y'all went to the Elite Eight. Y'all went to a national championship game. Y'all played at like the biggest level. To come here now and to take a program that's been through some shit, the last couple of years especially, like, what is that challenge, right? Because I know it's different with the transfer portal now. Mm-hmm. But for guys like Matt, for guys like James, I mean, last year was tough. You know what I mean? The last couple of years has been tough, changing that culturally, right? And it starts in the weight room. How do you kind of change that mindset, that winning mindset, and what is that for Coach Beard, if you will, like philosophically?
Yeah. Well, I would say this. Every year, there's probably two questions, especially when you start up a program. Two things you have to think about is, are we talented enough? Mm-hmm. And I believe we are. And are we tough enough? And so for me, that's, in the weight room, that's my number one thing. Yeah. Is it about the weights? No, it never has been about the weights. Are we lifting weights? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it's about the mindset. It's the 4-to-1 mindset that we have. That's one of our mottos. The mental is to the physical as 4 is to 1. So it's putting them through obstacles and challenges that are going to condition their mind and callous that mind. That's really what I look for. And a lot of times, guys will get exposed, and I'll know very quickly. It's a lot of times through conditioning. It's discipline. Mm-hmm. Discipline is toughness. And if I get you tired, will you start to forget? Will you start to complain? So putting them in positions to expose those things and calling guys out and finding out early, man. It's sometimes people will challenge guys way too late, and you're done. Mm-hmm. So calling guys out early, letting them know our standard, and not backing down. And that goes not only for players, that goes for coaches out there, man. Like, I've seen undisciplined coaches, and they talk about this crap, but they don't live it. They don't live it every single day. Mm-hmm. They don't really believe what they say. And so I truly believe this is how we live, and this is our life.
Have they taken to it? I mean, this group in particular, as far as like that toughness, that everyday standard that y'all are trying to set?
I'll put it like this. Every person that is here, a player is a better version of themselves. Are we there yet? I don't want to say we are. No, we still got work to do. I know how it looks. I know how it smells. I know the foods that they're eating. I know how it tastes, like, how it's supposed to look. We are getting there. Are we there yet? No, but shoot, when our Final Four team that we had at Texas Tech, we didn't know they were going to be a Final Four team yet at that moment. They weren't ready. They weren't ready for it. So as long as we continue to progress, we continue to communicate, continue to have that truth-telling atmosphere, and the number one thing I keep telling you is that discipline. Mm-hmm. Discipline, consistency. That's really what toughness is, man.
Yeah, and for you, it's a balancing act, because not only you're like having to cultivate that overall philosophical standpoint of beer, that toughness, that discipline, but you have to individualize workouts. You know what I mean? Like for Matt, where Matt gets better, where Jamie gets better. What have you learned about some of those guys, like Alan Flanigan, getting your hands on them and going, all right, he needs to improve burst, anything like that? That's stuck out to you early?
Yes, absolutely. And all that starts with one evaluation, and it's not, the beginning of the year, let's do these assessments and then never evaluate them again. I see it too many times. Let's do the test, let's start working
all
out,
the stuff down,
and then they forget about it. I mean, it happens all the time. Like if you're a real evaluator, you're doing assessments every single day by the way looking at their gait when they walk, looking at having a relationship with them, how they're feeling, like knowing when there's something wrong, and just being able to see things on the court. Like what disgusts me a lot of times is you'll see a strength coach where they're either just on the sideline, just doing their own thing, or they're in the weight room when practice is going on. Like that is your time to evaluate talent. That is your time to see when they do they get fatigued really early? I can get these guys strong, and then they get on the court, they don't have basketball strength. Like I see it too many times out there, man. And that's the part that's embarrassing, because at the end of the day, if we don't win games, I don't care how strong I got them. Like, I'm getting fired. I'm done. So I have to find out how I can get these guys strong on an individual basis. And so, but yes, that is something that I do with each and every player. I'll throw out a lot of different exercises that we do, and there's certain things that are general and other things that are specific. And some of the general things is just keeping guys in shape, and finding something that they love to do. It's not rocket science. Like, there's guys where we're running on the trail, we're mountain biking, we're swimming, we're doing hot yoga, so we're doing different things, and finding things that stick with certain guys. It's very important because it's a long season. And what I enjoy too is when they're done playing basketball here, will everybody on this team make it in the NBA? No. But there may be a guy that's going overseas, and they might not have the resources. I want to give them all the knowledge and resources that I have, and to help them out to when they leave, they know what to do, if they are on their own or whatnot, and loving the process.
I wish I had something like that, for my fat ass. Somebody like, here you go, man, just do the, Well, for Matt, I'm particularly curious because it's rare in this culture for a guy to have started here and have been here for 4 years, and he's been through it all, like he's been through the worst of times and all those kind of things. And he's been in that NBA draft discussion, too, for the last 2 summers. So how, from a physical standpoint, he looks like an Adonis, for God's sake. But, it's easy to look like. How does he take it to that next level then from a strength and conditioning standpoint in your mind? Like, is there one thing that you've been trying to hone in with him?
Yes. So just something that, from my evaluation, also Jordan, our dietitian, just things like that where, we just felt like, him being a little bit leaner, just to help him to be a little bit stronger. And we're not talking about, crazy skinny, no, not like that. But just getting in even better shape than what he was even last year.
What does that do for you, to lose that kind, like to get leaner for a guy like him?
For a guy like, because really for him, just evaluating, just looking at film, it seemed like the ball was in his hand so much last year. And really he was doing a lot. Just being able to simplify his game to where he's coming off of ball screens, where he's taking open threes as opposed to having to create all the time. So him just being able to sprint back and forth. And this is the other thing, how many people really think about defense for him? We're challenging on the defensive end. So to play both sides of the ball as opposed to just everybody thinking about him being an offensive player, we're looking at him to be a D3 type of guy, as well. And so to do that, you have to be in elite shape. And so that's something that we're working on. And really to do that within our program is just being competitive. And so something where I challenged him, where I expect him to win every competition, at least be in top 2 for sure. But that's something that I've told him, and he knows that. And so when I see him, even when we get on the line, if you lose a game somehow and he's on the line, I expect him to win those down and backs. So, and he knows it. He knows where I stand.
Well, you have a unique relationship with Coach Spirit, obviously, because like you said, this is your 3rd stop with him.
Yes, sir.
8 years with him. What's made y'all such a good fit, for you to always come back, you know what I mean, to always find each other again, you know what I mean, like always being with each other? Like what's worked? Why do y'all work together so well?
This may sound funny, but I'm people probably don't hear this much, but I like to just think of me as like the PG version of Beard in a lot of ways. So he may use a different language, and kind
of got my language,
and but we're just we really are on the same page, on that same wavelength. I may be up late at night just thinking about something that we need to improve on, and it's just on my mind, and I get a text at 2 a.m. in the morning because he can't sleep and he's thinking about the same exact thing. And we're going back and forth, and it's just it's beautiful. It really is, man. It's just he wants to win so bad, I want to win so bad, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes, man. And that's why I love working with him, because I respect him. I've had bosses out there where I'm like, man, I work hard in this guy. Like I know I do, and it's tough to respect a guy that doesn't put in the work, and this is why I respect Beard, because I know when I go home, I'm like, this guy's working. This guy's still working, and
he's thinking about like a crazy person like you,
I respect that, man.
Yeah.
And I can go to sleep well knowing that, man, this guy's going to battle, just like I'm going to battle. And it's beautiful, man. And our players, they see that. They come to the gym, they'll never sneak in the gym and like we're not there. Like we are going to be in the office. Like there's just no way.
Always beat them there.
Nobody was in the gym when I arrived there. I might have, somehow I just snuck in the gym at midnight. We're there. We're there, man. 24/7, man. This is our life. So when the guys see it, they're just motivated, and they're excited to get to work in. And it's beautiful, man. It just going from one program to the next, and then everywhere we've been blessed to experience championships. From when I was at North Carolina Central, then to Texas Tech, then to UT, and then now here. I've won a championship at every school I've been to, and that's the same thing with Beard. And so this is just all we know, and so we're hoping we can have that same magic here.
Can you tell there's a hunger here too? I mean, because listen, Ole Miss has tried to be good at basketball for a while, but this is a different level that y'all are operating on. And coming here, I mean, do you sense that you can tell this program? Can y'all tell this program is starving for some success, for that kind of success, that level of success, if you will? Yes,
I do feel like there's that famine around here, and there's a hunger for that success. I could just tell, from tight-knit community, people that love this university. I can feel it, and they want something to hold on to, and I know this happens at every place. We start off, the season might not have, and we're hoping that we start off though with a full capacity crowd, but I've seen it. First few games, they're filling us out. They're just saying, I don't know, and then boom, we get that signature win in certain people's eyes, and then we're full capacity, and then it doesn't stop. And that's what we expect. That's what we've seen. This is all we know, and that's what makes Beard elite is his connection with the fan base, the way he's able to engage. It's as if one, he's not a politician, but you just think about, the elite ones where they're out in the grassroots, talking to people. Like, this is who he is, man. He loves going to different parts of the community, talking to people, going to the fraternities, engaging people. He's so elite at that, man. And he hates scripts. He's not a guy that's, hey, give me the script, let's redo it. He hates that. He loves being authentic and genuine. It's just who he is.
Yeah, and last thing, you mentioned the discipline. Because of that discipline and kind of what y'all are putting in with this program all around, it's not just on the floor, it's off the court as well. Is there any doubt in your mind with Chris Beard? I mean, this is a guy, he wins everywhere he goes. You know what I mean? So even here, the challenge here, I mean, is there any doubt in your mind? I mean, this is y'all are going to do big things here too. You know what I mean?
I mean, we expect to win. It's
kind of a stupid question, but you know what I'm saying.
No. We expect to win, but where does that come from? Our confidence comes from the work that we put in our process, and so it's not one of those things where we just come out there. We're not arrogant. We just want to put the work in, and we believe that if we follow this process, we're going to win because we have the history and the track record. So that's what we're hoping is to continue to have this buy-in and continue to hold people accountable every single day. That's really the big thing. Even within coaches, man. You start off doing it right. The beginning of a official practice, which will start next week. Of course, the first practice is going to be high level. Guys are going to be engaging. They're going to be talking. Next practice, yes. Third practice, maybe. And all of a sudden,
practice 7.
And that's really where the elite program. That's the separation from elite to, to great to average. And then the poor teams. So who can hold on the longest and who really believes in it, man? Where it's every fiber in your body. I know that if we do this is our process. But there's laziness. There's guys that don't believe it, and that's the difference from winning and losing.
Have you seen much laziness with this team where they've been all these dudes? Have they taken to it pretty good? I mean, this is a veteran group. That's got to help too.
We're a better version. I'm not gonna. We're a truth-telling program, so we are getting better all around. I see it. The guys.
You haven't had any pushback as far as you've got what you needed.
No. We have a that's part of the recruiting process. We recruit great men. Guys that we believe that are going to be coachable and are going to be humble. I like when I think of humility, I think of teachable. You're not when we say certain things, you're not taking it in a negative way. You're thinking like, actually, you're hungry. Like you want the information. We want players coming to us, and that's really where, those are the guys that we recruit, and guys that aren't afraid of the work, man. They want to come here and they want to work, and that's something even the recruiting process. If you don't want to work, like this isn't the place for you. Like I don't care how talented you are, because it isn't going to work. We want people that love the process.